You are throwing money down the drain every single time you walk into that warehouse, and you don't even realize it because you've been conditioned to believe that bigger is always better. Most of us treat a Costco run like a badge of honor. We load up the flatbed, we feel like savvy survivalists, and we head straight for that massive 30-roll pack of Kirkland Signature bath tissue because it's the smart move. But I've spent the last 15 years obsessing over consumer logistics and unit cost efficiency, and I'm telling you right now, the math on that bulk deal has officially broken. What used to be the gold standard for budget-conscious families has turned into a psychological trap. You think you're saving 20%, but when you actually pull back the curtain on sheet thickness, roll density, and the way shrinkflation has hit the warehouse sector, the reality is a total gut punch. I'm not just talking about a few pennies here. I'm talking about a fundamental shift in how big box retailers are re-engineering their products to make you think you're getting the same value you were 3 years ago. I've been tracking the data across every major retailer in the US, and what I found when I put the Kirkland brand up against some unexpected competitors actually shocked me. I didn't want to believe it, because I've been a die-hard Costco fan since the 2000s. But facts don't care about our loyalty to a membership card. The most frustrating part isn't even the price. It's the quality trade-off that's happening right under your nose. If you've noticed that you're going through rolls faster than you used to, or that the yaw feels just a little bit off, you aren't imagining things. Here's the secret the warehouse giants don't want you to calculate. The price per sheet is a lie if the sheets are getting smaller. Now, you might be asking yourself, Cody, it's just toilet paper. How much of a difference can it really make? It makes a massive difference when you realize that value has been redefined by corporate analysts to prioritize their margins over your monthly budget. We've been lulled into a false sense of security by the size of the packaging. But it gets worse. When you factor in the convenience tax and the literal physical space this stuff occupies in your home, the savings start to evaporate before you even leave the parking lot. Stick with me on this, because once you see the breakdown I'm about to show you, you will never look at that red and white packaging the same way again. If you're tired of being overcharged for bulk items that aren't actually a bargain, hit that subscribe button right now. We're exposing the truth about where your household budget is actually leaking. You deserve to know exactly what you're paying for, and more importantly, what you're not getting. The rabbit hole goes way deeper than just a thinner roll of paper. Let's look at the cold, hard numbers, because this is where the warehouse illusion really starts to crumble. If you bought Kirkland Signature toilet paper 5 years ago, you were getting a massive 425 sheets per roll. Today, that count has been slashed to 380. That's a 10.5% reduction in product, while the price on the shelf has stayed frustratingly steady or even ticked up. In the industry, we call this silent downsizing, and it's a masterclass in psychological pricing. Costco knows you aren't counting the sheets. You're just looking at the size of the plastic-wrapped cube in your cart. But it's not just about the sheet count. It's about the density. I've run the tests, and the weight of these rolls has been dropping year over year. They're using less pulp and more air. Here's the secret. When the paper gets thinner, you instinctively use more. You're doubling or tripling up just to get the same structural integrity you used to have with a single fold. This creates a faster burn rate in your household, forcing you back to the warehouse sooner than you planned. And don't get me started on the snow globe effect. I've been tracking thousands of recent reviews and consumer reports, and the number one complaint isn't even the price, it's the lint. People are literally saying they feel like they sat on a snow globe because of the sheer amount of white dust and debris this paper leaves behind. It's messy, it's annoying, and frankly, it's a sign of a lower-grade manufacturing process. Now you might be thinking, Cody, surely the name brands like Charmin are even more expensive. Actually, when you break down the cost per square foot, the gap is closing fast. I found that during a standard sales cycle at a place like Sam's Club, or even on Amazon, the Members Mark or Presto brands are actually beating Costco's unit price by nearly 15–20%, all while offering a significantly higher sheet-to-roll ratio. But here's the kicker. And this is the part that actually kept me up at night. The plumbing bills. I've spoken to master plumbers who are seeing a massive spike in septic and mainline clogs directly linked to these newer, high-volume bulk tissues that don't dissolve properly. What you save at the register, you're eventually going to pay back tenfold to a guy with a snake and a high hourly rate. It's a classic case of being penny wise and pound foolish. But it gets even crazier when you look at how Costco is actually sourcing this stuff now compared to the golden era of Kirkland quality. Now I know what you're thinking. Cody, if the warehouse giant is failing me, where am I supposed to go? After putting dozens of brands through the ringer, measuring sheet thickness, testing the dust factor, and crunching the actual cost per square foot, the results were a total wake-up call. If you want the absolute best bang for your buck without the lint storm, you need to look at Amazon's Presto, Ultra Soft. I know, I was skeptical too. But the math doesn't lie. In my testing, it came out to roughly 36 cents per 100 sheets. Compare that to the 45 cents you're paying for Kirkland, and you're looking at a 20% savings right out of the gate. Delivered to your door, no heavy lifting required. But if you're a warehouse or dye shopper, there's a new king in town. Members Mark from Sam's Club. For the first time in 15 years, I'm seeing Sam's Club consistently beat Costco on both price and sheet count. Their 45 roll pack currently sits at about 2 cents per square foot, while Costco is trailing at 2.4 cents. Over a year, for a family of 4, that's not just spare change. That's a couple of nice steak dinners you're currently flushing away. But let's get real for a second. If you really want to stop the bleeding, the ultimate pro move isn't a different brand of paper. It's the bidet. Costco actually sells the Toto and Bio bidet units right there in the aisle, and it's the single best investment you can make for your home. You'll cut your TP consumption by 75% overnight. You stop worrying about dust, you stop worrying about plumbing clogs, and you finally break free from the bulk buy cycle that's been draining your wallet. The bottom line is this: the Costco magic isn't what it used to be. Loyalty to a brand that's quietly cutting quality while you pay for the privilege of a membership? That's not smart shopping. That's just habit. It's time to stop buying the hype and start buying the data. Check your receipts, look at the sheet counts, and don't be afraid to walk past that giant pallet next time you're at the warehouse. Your budget and your plumbing will thank you. I've put together a full cheat sheet of the top 5 household essentials you should actually be buying at Target or Amazon instead of Costco to save another $500 this year.